Hey everyone, my name is Michael and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another tier list video, guys. And if you couldn't tell from the title and the thumbnail, today's video is going to be a tier list of all the games I've played on the channel. Well, not really all the games, but the big games that I played on my channel. Like for example, the ones essentially that I have over 100 videos on the channel. I mean, one of them even has like 700 videos, so I'd say to those games that have over 100 videos. So essentially, my point seems more like reasonable and believable, as if I have played long enough for those games, then I should have like a lot to say in the matter. But there's going to be one exception in this video, and you guys are going to see in a bit. But before I start this video, I want to say that this tier list is fully based just on my opinions only, and I haven't asked anyone essentially to rate this tier list or anything. This is my essentially even showing the my games tier list online. So if you guys have an opinion on my tier list, then let me know down below, and so we can have a discussion. But be friendly. Do not drop us at anyone's throats, please. And in the bottom of tier of my tier list, we have PvZ3. Was that anyone's surprise? I mean, I guess that could have been the kind of surprise because I haven't played the game for that long, but yeah, this game is not good. It's just not good. I don't think I have to say essentially why this is good. I specifically make like a video about talking about it. Plus, there's like 1,000 other videos of people just saying how shit this game is. This game just fails on so many levels of being a sequel to PvZ2 and even to PvZ1, as PvZ1 has more content than this game. And the one thing I also want to bring about essentially this game is that its level design is just so lazy. It seems like it was AI generated. Like all of these levels that in PvZ3 are almost the exact same. I mean, obviously, like the region from region they're kind of different. Like there's roof levels, there's swamp levels, and they're kind of different. For example, from each other. But the swamp levels aren't really too similar from each other if you do think about it. Like nothing really, there isn't really anything on those levels that shakes up essential makes level unique. The only unique level which I remember was the squash level, where you have to hold the zombies in place holding walnuts and essentially use the squash, and that was some of a unique level, I want to say. But actually, if I think about that, it's not as unique as I originally thought, because PvZ2 does have a level where essentially it's kind of similar, but instead of squash you have to use cherry bombs, and there's a limit on how many cherry bombs you can use because it's just kind of a sun limit. So yeah, even that is actually one level which I thought was unique. It's not as unique as I thought. So this just pretty much just tells you essentially just how bad PvZ3 is. I don't believe that this game ever will be good, even if the the new changes that I have said that might essentially add where you might choose your own plans. Something that has been so fundamental for the past two games, they started to go for the third game and now adding on as an update. Yeah, this is just how bad this game is. So that was the F tier. Now moving on to C tier. So we have actually two games in here. First of all, being Angry Birds Transformers. I'm going to briefly talk about this game, as I don't know really what the hell is happening with me on that game. Like, I used to enjoy playing this game a lot back in the day, but I just don't know. I think I have it to the point where essentially what all I can do right now is just grind to level up my characters. I mean, I say grind to level up my characters, but I mean, I don't think even Angry Birds Transformers is capable to working on my device. I think to be sure honest, the events that they had in like where you can unlock characters, I wasn't a big fan of them, because you just had to back so much effort to actually unlocking these characters in this event, and if you just missed one day, that would just be all done. You're all fucked over. You weren't able to get these characters, and even then, you would pretty much have to like spend like some amount of gems to get them. And recently, I have heard that apparently who made like Angry Birds like in the general games, they're taking out all of the older games because they want to focus on Angry Birds 2, and they feel like the other games just taking the spotlight, which I don't really understand why you're taking out these games. Like, if you have people playing your games, then I don't know why you take it down. If you want to focus on Angry Birds, then just stop supporting the other games. Still have them up, because that's still some kind of outcome that you're going to be kind of generating. But just don't take them down, because I think that just get jackass move. And that's not even to like Angry Birds Transformers or the other collab games. Angry Birds 1 was also kind of taken down. I'm not sure if it's still like backup or anything, but I've heard that they were willing to take down even the original game. I mean, just imagine if Bobcat did this. They just said to take out 1 and 2 because they want to focus on PvZ3. But I can't say now that the game was completable, as I said, I rank it above PvZ3 because it is some stuff right. The gameplay was interesting, kind of like, combination of run and gun, but still kind of Angry Birds taking the stuff down. It was absolutely fun, as I said. And something the way they allowed you to, to get these characters, like the character bundles that are out for gems like 70, 50. Like, it wasn't too hard to grind for gems in that game. I think they could have nerfed it how to do it now, but back in the day, it wasn't too hard, so you could easily get those bundles. That's how at least how I remember getting some majority of my favorite characters from there. And there was like this kind of like a gacha system in it that you could also get characters in. I remember doing that on my alt account and I got a character, so getting characters wasn't like too difficult. Like some essentially you have to like spend your entire life, but just wasn't fun essentially characters after the original like the story characters. But yeah, as I said, I would definitely rank it above PvZ3, but definitely not the best game I played. Like it still goes through CT, it's still like decent, but it's just like I wouldn't play it now. I mean, I wouldn't play it now because I'm not sure it's still up or anything. Now I want to talk about possibly the most influential series that was on my channel, and that is Monster Legend. Coming in another game that is in C tier as man, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that game. Like originally when I found out about Monster Legend, it was kind of cool to get your first legendary monster. The game just back in the day before the mythics. I don't say like mythics were completely the reason why I don't like the game, but it kind of needs to explain the story. So before the mythics, I absolutely enjoyed playing the game. Again, a legendary monster was a high task. Then getting that legendary monster to level 100. Then next one day I think they introduced like monster labs, so there was even more stuff to do. Like there was so many exciting ways to just play the game, at least for me back in the day. I mean, now essentially that could just be me thing, but I felt like essentially like every single monster in the game had a purpose and could be used. Like back in the day, I don't remember essentially a singular monster not being able to do something in the game, whether essentially using it for teamwork purposes or using a PvP. Like a monster, if you got a legendary monster, even though that was the shittiest monster, like Heyman, I'm sorry for all the memes that you said that Heyman is there. Heyman, essentially, he's not the best monster, but even he had a purpose essentially in the game. Like, the game wasn't essentially so far down where every single monster in that specific rarity was like completely unusable. Even epics and rares were essentially used to fight some like legendary monsters. I remember seeing that. But at the same time, that could be essentially me just being as a low player and just seeing essentially using anything that I could have had. But as I say again, every single monster which I got back in the day didn't feel like it didn't have a purpose. Like I felt like essentially every single monster was some kind of viable, and slowly essentially the game kind of meta essentially was just being more crazy. The monsters were getting faster, there was like different effects that could deny you, different more powerful traits, like Nemesis monsters, VIP monsters came out. But I still felt like essentially the game was kind of like level grounded, and essentially even if you do fight up against like some OP players, then essentially you could have used your like strategy and what you catch to see essentially just how far you could have gone, maybe even win a cheeky win. Also back in the day we didn't have like 10 different events just happening at the same time. We only had one event for a certain amount of time, and back in the day events where I want to say like they were just much more chill, like OG team races and all of this marathon shit. We even had one of those games, Attack on the Titan. I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it, but essentially it was a kind of a team race. But if you do certain quests, you can actually attack the Titan and gain points for how much damage you do to the Titan. Dude, that game mode was so much fun, and I'm just so sad that we only seen it like a handful of times. Was it like only 2, 3? I don't even think that we have seen it 3 times. I think I did like one video essentially on sneak peek, and that was like monster which I thought that was a Titan, but no, that just turned out to be a team race monster or marathon. I'm not sure if a marathon was back in the day when there was Attack on Titan monster, but and even though there was like this massive pirate keep still happening, the game still had a message for fun because, as I said, the Titan event, and then upcoming like Nemesis, the Metal One event, where essentially you have to use the VIP monsters, and when VIP monsters became breedable, where you need specific monsters to get that essentially kind of gave purpose to the older monsters, where you could have not used them as in a battle, but they could have been used as beating jokers to get a different monster so you can do different events. Like I said, something like that is where essentially the older monsters might have not been used in a battle, but they still had a purpose. And essentially the paragraph just kind of didn't stop, and they would just like keep on bringing out the better monsters, where they pretty much just had to somehow essentially hit the restart button. They had to introduce the mythics, which I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of all down for the mythics. I was somewhat excited because essentially the idea of the mythics is just to bring back the game to back in the OG days to the roots, and I was fully up for that. I genuinely hope that essentially that with the mythic monsters, there was kind of like slowly but surely, somewhat bring the game back to the OG days where we didn't have actually any of the situation where I can just deny your entire team while also having extra turns on all of the shit like War Master Falasa did. I was kind of hoping that maybe they'll kind of slowly bring game to that much, but no, they just didn't do that, and just instead of trying to bring back to the OG, which slowly kind of slow down the power creep. At the point, they would just say like, nah, fuck it, let's power creep these mythics. And the fifth generation of the mythic monsters, I think they were like corrupted. They were pretty much like almost on par with the legendary monsters which we left with, but with bigger stats. And I felt like SCG just kind of went back to square one. And the power group didn't stop after, as they just pretty much started, making better monsters. Our shiny SCG, the ones which came before, even making the situation worse because, the OG linkers couldn't be used because if you have a sword like it has spears, then that's obviously one monster enemy team down and you have to deal with two, so there's like a 2v3 situation. And the power creep just got so much, and how much essentially you just decide to, as I said, add like 10 different events happening at the same time, so we can't focus on one thing at a time. Marathon, where essentially you have to, be on the game for like almost like 24/7. It wasn't fun. And the last time I actually checked with the monsters, they tried to add like the higher tier above the mythic monsters, the ancestor monsters, who are essentially at the core kind of again at the beginning, like they're really like having like 10 billion skills that can actually do at the same time, or like the new Olympic monsters, but they have essentially bigger stats, and also the ultimate can be triggered if you just action more. So the ultimate is not even like chance based, but you can essentially have your ultimate almost like every game if you play your cards right, and just like keep powering the game like over and over and over again. I was just like not up for it. Like for the newer players and for the old player, like you just cannot keep up, and you have to be able to sacrifice your life to play this game, and I'm just not up for it. The power creep went too far, and I'm not very big fan of this game anymore. And I just want like the modern version of Monster Legend. I think the game just fell down so far over it used to be. Like I understand the power creep has happened at some point, but the way you tried to handle the mythic monsters, like, nah, I wasn't a huge fan of it, and I think that single-handedly ruined the game for me. But for the other good memories which I had with the game, and also that this game is the only one that has almost like 800 like videos on it, I think it deserves a C tier. Like, I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna make any videos on Monster Legend, as I don't have the game on my phone. I don't know. Maybe if I feel bored, if I wouldn't hit like, something else to upload, maybe I might, make an odd Monster Legend video here and there, but don't expect it to make like a permanent return on this channel is all I'm saying. I just noticed that the sequence in the Monster Legend was so long. I'm still gonna keep that in, but I need to like shorten that on the other sequences, because if I do have the as long as videos I've had for that one, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this video. So let's get back to the tier list, and now we have a B tier with 3 games which I consider all to be good, and I even play once in a while. First was Apex Legend. Now, when I started playing Apex Legend, that was the time that I didn't like Fortnite, and that was the BR that I didn't have building. I like the ability aspect, I had the legend aspect. That was good, but over time, the players got better, to the point where I just physically cannot compete. Like in the BR, I just cannot even get a single person fair and square. Like, the players out there couldn't be where I just, in the BR, I'm a lost cause. They decided to add like a few more essentially mods that and Battle Royale favor was Arena, but apparently people didn't like it, so they had to remove that. Such a loss, that was actually such a good game mode. And I think they kind of have essentially pretty much like a kind of teamwork based game mode in there. I have played only like a few bits of it, as I can't really play much of the game now because it doesn't really allow me to log in for some alien reason. But I would say actually Apex Legend, good game. I wouldn't say it's better than Fortnite right now. I mean, Fortnite will be here, in a later down the tier list, but, yeah, it's a good choice. It's a good choice. Also, I just cannot forget essentially the feeling when I got the Watson's Heirloom. Yeah, I felt like I really accomplished when I did that in this game. But now, moving on to the B tier, we have Battle Cats, and I don't really know how to explain this one. You have a cat army, and you take over dimensions. I don't know. What do you do at this point? I don't know how far the story goes, but essentially, it's kind of similar to like Army of Ages, I want to say. If you ever played that, then that's the best I can describe it, because I don't know how the hell to describe it. But you get units, you get cats, and then you fend off against, all the non-canny cats units. And it's kind of a fun game, although it does have like one major Weakness now is essentially if you do delete your game, then there's a chance you won't be able to get your save file unless you save your like numbers on the beginning. But if you do have it, then you can get your account back like relatively easy. Like I wouldn't say like it's the easiest thing in the world, but I lost my account twice, and they were able to help me to get my account back. The makers of the bugger. So if I can do it, then anyone can do it, and I'm the world's biggest dumbass. The game can be played casually, but at the same time, there's this kind of like grind aspect that you have to do at some point, and unless you feel like really into grinding, or you don't really mind the grinding, I don't think that's a game for you. But I absolutely don't mind the grinding aspect. I mean, I grind every single Fortnite battle pass to level 200, so I like grinding to a certain degree. I don't really know what else to say. Like, I consider it have a decent option as still a game which I do play from time to time, because even though it's kind of a grindy body, I feel like there's like enough happening where it's not the same thing over and over and over and over again. So yeah, I consider it to be BT to be like a a decent choice, decent pick, especially for my options for video games I've played over the years. So yeah, that's where the Bobcats go. Now moving on to the last place of their B tier, and is Plant vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. And I'm going to be straight up honest, this game I think is one of those like gaming classics, I want to say. The only reason which this game is not actually an S tier and it's kind of being in a B tier, this kind of game which I play once in a while, is one, there isn't like no new content being added to this game, so the game has been the same since I want to say 2020 or 2022, somewhere around the time. No, not 2022, but 2021, since we had the Twilight Jumper and Walnut Hills added. And two, I don't want to say the multiplayer is kind of bad, but the town hall, which is kind of the main thing that holding this game together, doesn't really have any like good game modes. There's no cats versus dinos without a speed boost. There's no like boss haunts or anything. It's just all the randoms revenge and other some like stuff with a speed boost. But back in the heyday, this would have been definitely been an S tier. And as I said, this is still a good game. This is, I want to say, like one of the best PvZ games. I'm not sure if I would say it's the best. PvZ 2 on heyday does have a chance to rival this, but as I said, if this game was keeping updated, or if the town halls, were actually good, this game would have been SC no issue. I mean, there's still stuff which I have to do in this game, but me doing that doesn't really like do anything. Like if I play Fortnite, then that doesn't really do anything. But if I play Fortnite, grinding for something that actually gain something while in there, like I do get stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of a different level of grinding, which I can do it just for the sake of doing it. But yeah, but as I said, it's still good. It's still such a good game, and I just wish that the developers wouldn't leave the game in the state that is it now, where town halls are just dog shit. And that was the B tier. Now moving on into A tier, and we only have one game which I want to talk about, and that is Genshin Impact. There's a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna, as I try to briefly talk about, like characters, I feel like every single character is likable to some degree. I mean, except for one, but that's gonna be later on. Like the style of it's kind of open world was kind of the story based, so essentially if you want to like progress through discovering the world, you're gonna have to do some stories, and for some people that might be kind of a turn off, but I do kind of like it essentially as your world may be different to other people's worlds, and the gameplay is, I want to say, it's kind of very interesting and very unique, at least what I have seen. I absolutely love it. There's like, when you start thinking, there's a ton of things to do, and even when I'm kind of in the end game, there's still like a lot of things you can do. Spiral Abyss, then your imaginary theater. There's like a TCG, that's kind of a card game in this. That's also permanent. Like all these mods that just say that permanent is like a lot of limited time game modes. And story, like one of the like after Inazuma is absolutely insane. Like I absolutely carry my ass essentially in the Sumo Archon quest, and I haven't actually finished the Fontaine one, but I assume that's going to be good. And soon we're going to be getting the Natland one with potentially even more like ending content. Like I absolutely love this game. Like the only thing which I don't really like is essentially it's kind of heavy on the grind, and that's essentially for the end game. Even though yes, we do have Spirobus, then you Imaginary Theater and CCG. Like CCG, not very many people like, and even I essentially, I don't want to say I kind of don't like it, but at the same I kind of lost interest in it. And there still is like an actual like decent end game content essentially. I mean, Hungry Star has a ton of like end game content, but in here just like not really much. I mean, we had like recently Imaginary Theater, as I say, so maybe we thought we get something new also, so we can also do. That's the only thing that doesn't make it an S tier, because if it did actually have some good ending content, then there would be an S tier, like no content, but for now is in an A tier. and now it's time to go to the S tier, and I don't think that should be any surprise essentially. If you know essentially what else I play on this channel, and right now it should come as no surprise, is Fortnite. Now the reason which I actually do put Fortnite in, even though there's like lots of controversy now kind of going on with like locker UI with item shops, I still think that Fortnite DOS essentially is kind of the best game. In general, that's how I believe, because essentially, first of all, now with their new, essentially, metaverse, you have just so many ways to play. You can have creators to create your own maps, but at the same time, all the maps are just kind of like some boring shit I have ever seen, like almost of not 1v1s, go tit or some shit like that. That's not really that interesting. But then we have PR, which actually we have like two separate versions of PR, build and zero build. As also recently Reload, which is kind of an OG take, while at the same time being having such that respawn element. So if you can have an OG and also want to play something else, then there's options for that. There's Lego, which basically just like Minecraft but in Lego, and Fortnite. There's Festive, which is kind of like similar to Guitar Hero. There's Fortnite Racing, which is, you know, just racing in a car. If you like racing in the cars, I guess. But also the thing that kind of Fortnite is kind of well known for now is collabs, and just like insane amounts of them. Like not every club is going to be like the best club as they possibly can, but there's just so many, because so many you just don't expect. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Optimus Prime, Ariana Grande, Invincible, that's just starting to name a few, Marshmallow, with also Fortnite being able to create just such a like amazing live event, concert for different artists. Like I think essentially just for the fact that not only there's like collab aspect, and also there's like so many ways to play, I think that just makes Fortnite being an ST and be like one of the best games of all time. And this is my games tier list, and let me know below if essentially I agree or disagree with this take. But anyway, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys have a great one. See you all next time. Peace.